Hey guys, welcome back to the Deansy Boy Show, and I am of course your host Reese Deans, and apologies for the long break. I was caught in traffic. My mother is sick, not really, she's not sick at all, she's healthy and safe and everything like that, but no, I have been meaning to make another podcast episode after the interview with Raven, but I haven't stated that I was going to take a break and move on to other commitments that were needed to be fulfilled. I've recently returned to university for my second year, and so far it's been pretty good, but I had to put that first before doing the podcast show. For some of you guys who've been waiting patiently, thank you very much. I've also been working with a number of people locally to help launch the Daily Veil, which is going to be launched pretty soon, I think. I think it's going to be later on this month. The Daily Veil is going to be a website directly for the local area of Villa Glamorgan, etc., etc. It's a new website that's going to be launched in Barry, so that's just pretty an easy contacts for you guys. Now, before I begin this podcast show, I want to give a few advertisements, or give a few shout outs really. Exposure Wrestling Entertainment, got to give them a shout out again, and Wrestle Crate as well for the amount of parcels and packages they've been giving me, and the videos that I've been doing. I've got loads and loads of wrestling stuff which I'm happy with, especially with like the Pop Vinyl Action Wrestling figure. I think they're bringing in another one out, so I can't really wait for that one. So I'll advertise Exposure Wrestling Entertainment shows that's coming up later on this year, and they've got two events coming up. One is this month in October, and one is in December time. On the 29th of October at the Pearl Millennium Center in Newport, WWE Hall of Famer Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon, will be attending a house show to do a meet and greet before the actual wrestling show begins, and be part of their event on the same day. On the 16th of December, at the same venue, there will be a pre-show meet and greet with Cody Rhodes at the same venue, before he will go on to do a wrestling match at the Pearl Millennium Center, of course, on the same night. Tickets are on sale now. Just go to the website www.exposureentertainment.co.uk and follow them on Twitter at ExpoEnt. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is TNA and their current situation. We've all heard the rumours on what is happening with the company, and what is going to be gonna happen sooner or later, or what's been happening in the past. We've all heard the stories of how it came crashing down, when they were hiring Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and money was pouring out, but it wasn't coming in. The poor TV deals, bad storylines, probably bad promos. There's always the smaller things that count as to why a big company like TNA just go crashing down. And they were going to be the potential competitors for WWE in the Monday Night Wars, but they gave it a go, and it just did not happen. It did not work at all. Now we've had this dilemma where the TNA have gone to a point now where there was rumours that they were going to be bought out by WWE, by their competitors. I don't know if it's actually true or it's just full of rumours, but the sources are just coming in, and especially like Dave Meltzer, who writes a lot for wrestling and MMA, saying that they could be the potential buyers to buy out TNA and take all the wrestlers. But I don't see, the likes of Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, and a few others jumping into WWE. I think they'll just go, bye-bye, and I'm not going to take part in your fancy little show. But, I wouldn't say TNA's improved over the years as well. They're on the last feet. I mean, TNA, I still think it's considered, a wrestling show that just happens to be on television. You're flicking through the channels and, TNA is on. You don't really go looking for it. Like WWE, you go on Sky Sports and you start looking for it and check what time it's on, or you go on the WWE network and start watching shows there. But TNA, they haven't got like their own like TNA network. Let's just say they haven't got their uh, the material and all the equipment, like the backup stuff, like what WWE have got. I I wanted to talk about just one little thing, and I think through the course of TNA's process of creativity and storytelling wise, there's a storyline with Matt and Jeff Hardy with all the this broken gimmick for Matt Hardy and this obsolete character for Jeff Hardy. Uh, I think Matt Hardy, or Broken Matt Hardy's gimmick has really put kayfabe back in the scene, as he won't break character inside or outside the ring. I think it's superb, really, that he's actually continuing on with this gimmick, and just actually delivering it to the fans outside of the ring. I mean, if you look at the Undertaker as well, like, you don't see him outside of the ring often, because he's supposed to be like this little phenom demonic character, if you want to say that. So I like that Matt Hardy has put a new character, created himself a new character, and actually started using it, has become a big success. I mean, I think it's become a global success now, because everyone is catching the glimpse of this broken brilliance of Matt Hardy, and and with Jeff Hardy as well behind Matt Hardy. He's taken a step away and let Matt Hardy do the have this spotlight, because come on, let's just put it this way: Jeff Hardy was always the spotlight center of attention in WWE, and probably through the course of TNA, than Matt Hardy was. And now, because Matt Hardy's got this new material that's working so well, ridiculously so well, if I should say, because of the way, when we first had a glimpse of Broken Matt Hardy, the Brother Nero, I knew you'd come, and all the stuff they were doing, like the backyard wrestling stuff, and the way the storylines were going, very, how should I put it, very thriller, I don't know, science fiction horror-esque moments, and you think, well, that can't happen in wrestling, but because it's one of those things where you just think, oh, it's ridiculous, but it's good, and it's entertaining. It's there to actually fulfill your enlightenment of entertainment, and I think that's how brilliant Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy just came up with this idea, and they've actually got the creative access to it. And so I think this broken Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy being obsolete gimmick is doing really well. So I've just recently watched the Great War on Bound for Glory, and I have to say, I mean, where the backstage malarkey was going on. I mean, Matt Hardy and Abyss taking it outside, whether outside the Universal Studios in Orlando. They were driving in on a pickup truck with Jeff Hardy, changing different gimmicks. I thought that was funny. It was something different. It was new, and especially like the first one when he was trying to put the goggles on. He says, "I couldn't see shit. I can't see shit." It was. I thought it was very funny, and for them to take home the tag team gold, and I think when I was watching the rest of Bound for Glory, I think that was the highlight of the night, with the Broken Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy being obsolete, whatever, winning tag team gold, and there was so much going on as well. I think I got the full pitch of the story, and where it was being happening, where it was going to conclude, and I'm glad that they got tag team gold around their waist now. But will we see more of it? I don't know, because with Bound for Glory being stated at its their very last pay-per-view, we just don't know what's going to happen. But would I want to see more Broken Matt Hardy if TNA goes out of business? Yes, of course. We can always do independent shows. I mean, New Japan Pro Wrestling, you can go there. I mean, I think he'll be big there, because it'll be something new for the Japanese audience. The one thing I don't want him to go to, like where I want him to go, is WWE, because I don't think he will have any full control or access to what his character would do, what he would actually want to perform. I mean, because WWE is so like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, whereas TNA, they were given a bit of freedom to actually expand and create some of their own storylines, which I think is it's good in a way. At least they're not messing it up like they did with WCW, where like Hulk Hogan, he was in control of the creative side. But then again, TNA did let Hulk Hogan have a few creative process and ideas, and it just got to a point where TNA were now coming out of business. But I really liking the impact and the how the attention has come to the Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy storyline and the broken brilliance of it all. So I would like to see more of that, and there's a tour going on later on in the year with Matt Hardy going to the UK in London, Manchester, Glasgow and Cork. Why not Cardiff, saying they're not attracting enough money or attention? Shut up, just come to Wales. Come on, don't leave us behind. It's the reason why it's called the United Kingdom. It's got Wales in it. Come on, just give us that, for God's sake. But oh well, I mean, shit happens. But hopefully I see more of Broken Matt Hardy and the obsolete Jeff Hardy in the future, and hopefully TNA will still stand tall, still keep going. I won't be surprised if they do like go out of business, say the next day or something, because it was bound to happen. Like everyone knew it was gonna go. I mean, it's like a lumberjack chopping down a tree, and you're just waiting for the tree just to come down, and you're just there like, what's gonna happen? Where we're gonna go. So I have to go. So that's my point on the Broken Matt Hardy storyline in TNA. I know I talked about it before in the previous episode, or the last few episodes. I've talked about it, but I think I've explained it more now because it expanded. It's extended to the point where there was a big storylines, and I liked the storyline with Decay, and I thought that was a very nice touch. And again, I want to apologise as well to some of the audience who been waiting for me to do my next podcast. It's been very busy, really, and I have been planning out some stuff for the podcast show, but I haven't really had the opportunity to go and sit down and do it because of the other work commitments that I've had, especially with the Daily Veil. I've my colleague of mine, Lou, he asked me to do a podcast episode on one or two things, and so I can't really go into much detail about it because it's got to it's a plan. It's a planner. It's just currently in works, and I can't really say much on what will be happening with me and this podcast show and with the Daily Veil, but I'll try my best to do more episodes. I'm in a bit of a rush most of the times, and I'm trying to do some hobbies that I love to do, and especially doing this podcast show as well. I mean, it's one of those things, really. It's life, where you have to go out and try and do something else, even though you want to do something that you love. But you gotta take you gotta make a few sacrifices, and you gotta take it, and that's it, really. The reason why I've only just doing this podcast is just to let you know that I'm not dead or anything like that. I mean, there are times where the podcast episodes, they've had a big gap, like one moment I can have one episode made, and then the next month or the next 2 months the next podcast episode comes along. With the interview with Raven, everyone's getting a big buzz out of it, saying that the Deansy Boy will probably make it there. But the thing is, it's got to be at the right moment, at the right time for me to get new guests in and try and get more people to come on board. I'll tell you one thing, though, what's going to happen with the Deansy Boy show. There will be an episode where myself and my friend Aaron will be discussing one specific topic. I won't say what it is, but it's one specific topic which will hopefully extend to 40-15 minutes, because normally when I go on the podcast show, it's I normally talk for 15-30 minutes or so, and just talk about random wrestling topics and stories. The reason why as well I'm not talking about WWE on this podcast show. I know I've mentioned it, but I'm not talking about it because I'm bored of the way, like in majority of the podcast episodes, WWE's just talked about a lot. Just move away from it. It's like we should learn more about wrestling through other promotions and companies like TNA, and Ring of Honor and Attack Pro Wrestling, ICW, WCPW. You got to learn a lot of wrestling stuff from them rather than WWE, because I think it's its own wrestling environment where there's wrestling and then there's WWE. I think we should move aside and stop talking about WWE and move on to talk about like New Japan Pro Wrestling, etc., etc., etc. So that's basically it. And the reason why I'm only keeping this short and simple as well, is basically I just to get the flow going and just keep it afloat with the show. One person asked me, will I be having more guests on the show? I'm working on it, and hopefully there will be. When I've advertised for Razor Ramon and Cody Rhodes for Exposure Wrestling Entertainment, I got some bad news. I won't be interviewing them, or hopefully getting a chance to interview them, because I'm busy on those 2 days. I'm working on one of those days, and then on the other one I'm doing a pantomime show on the other, so I won't be able to have the opportunity to sit down and probably talk to them and ask them about their days in WWE and other promotions. But that's all I got time for, really, guys. I mean, I do apologize if it's short and it's not making a lot of sense, but I had to come up with a topic, and because of the Broken Matt Hardy storyline that's going on in TNA, I think that's the only decent thing to talk about. There will be one more thing. I know that, like, before I carry on, I know some of you guys are saying there's a lot of things to talk about, but like I said to you guys, I mean, it's all about timing. It's all about trying to keep the episodes flowing, keeping it afloat, and just give more. What's the phrase I'm looking for? I mean, leaving the audience wanting more. That's it. Just leaving you guys asking for more rather than just giving you the whole full meal, the full dinner plate, and just basically just tell you and talk about everything on one podcast show, not thinking of talking about the next thing in the other. So really, guys, I just can't I can't give you a lot, but at least I give you this part of the Deansy Boy podcast show, so I have to conclude on there. But that's all I got time for, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reece Deans. I am your host of the Deansy Boy Show. I want to thank you guys for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, just try to get my podcast going. Share the video as well. Get the Deansy Boy Show known, and hopefully one day I could be sitting in a studio talking to the likes of John Cena. Well, I don't know about John Cena, but you get the drift. Talking about some more wrestlers and having an interviews with them. But thank you anyway for listening. I am your host of the Deansy Boy Show. Goodbye.